Difficult to look back on that time. And for more on how the September 11th attacks really changed the travel industry and really what's coming up next, we're going to bring in Henry Harteveldt. Henry, Henry, you're with the travel industry, an analyst and president of the Atmosphere Research Group. Sorry about that. That's always to get a little distracted talking about that time now. As someone who traveled a lot before 9/11 and after, I find it hard to believe it's been 20 years. And the new normal I've just become used to. But what do you hear from consumers?
Well, Sean, to your point, we have all become accustomed to the current normal. We have all become accustomed to getting to an airport now generally an hour and a half or more before our flight. We've all become accustomed to the fact that our friends and family cannot go through with us to the gate when we leave or be at the gate when we arrive as they could before 9/11. We're used to the fact that, or at least we've accepted the fact, that our personal information that is relevant to airline and airport security is transmitted, shared, vetted, and reviewed in order for us to get on an airplane. We have become accustomed to a lot of things that are now part of the routine, taking our shoes off or belts off, removing laptops and other large devices to go through security, limiting the amount of liquids we can go on board, viewing these teeny tiny travel bottles as normal when we know we might get 2 or 3 uses out of a bottle of shampoo or toothpaste.
Exactly. And a new organization, TSA, for security, as we talked about. And I presume the government worked with the industry, air carriers and airports. Is that the case? And how did all these new measures come together so quickly?
Well, what's interesting is 9/11 was a catalyst. Before 9/11, security was treated by airlines as a necessary evil, and like so many things, was done in order to meet minimum standards, and these were often minimum wage jobs. Rudimentary training, rudimentary equipment, and in fact, it was even parodied in movies. But after 9/11, we realized we can't take security lightly anymore. The TSA was created, and in 20 years, the TSA has really evolved. They've gone to risk-based assessment. To your point, programs like PreCheck allow people to opt in. They get background screening. They pay a fee, but they get expedited security access as a result.
Now, we focus a lot on the consumer for obvious reasons, but what about all the employees? The TSA system has not been without its bumps, but personally, I think it's nice that flight attendants are being looked at for the job they do, which is passenger safety. And also employees, how are they coping and how have they been impacted over the years?
Well, so the cockpit doors on the airplane before 9/11 were designed to be as lightweight as possible. Now they are viewed as armored doors. They are armored, they are reinforced. There may be other barriers out there. US airlines are required to have at least two people on the flight deck at all times. So if one of the pilots needs to step out for whatever reason, a flight attendant will go up to the cockpit for security reasons. Flight attendants are looking at the passengers, trying to assess who can assist them in case of an emergency. They get extra training in self-defense to protect themselves and passengers in case of an attack. There are all sorts of things that are done that are visible, but a lot of things that are invisible to us as travelers in terms of how airplanes are kept safe and secure.
I'd be remiss if I didn't bring up the recent spike in air rage incidents that probably have come from COVID and all the frustration from that. But what do you think is triggering that frustration post 9/11 to carriers and air crews? They have the authority now to deal with the belligerent passenger.
Well, what's very interesting is after 9/11, and even now, if someone tries to attack the cockpit of a plane, passengers will band together and try to stop that person from attacking the cockpit or doing other harm, like opening a door. But if somebody wants to strike a flight attendant, nobody lifts a finger. It's very frustrating. I understand the frustrations that people have about wearing a mask, but that's because all of this, unfortunately, has become politicized, where mask wearing or policies are viewed as political acts as opposed to health safety acts that are designed to keep us all safe on a plane. It's really sad because, to the comment that was made earlier, a lot of the goodwill that existed now has gone away.
Yeah, it's interesting too, because one thing a flight attendant told me is count the number of seats to the nearest exit, because it could be smoky. And now every time I get an aircraft, that's the first thing I do. Now the rules are being updated. Do you think we're going to see more stringent measures for passengers?
Well, I think one thing we may start to see is airlines do have the right to prosecute a passenger if they attack a flight attendant or other crew member. And I think we may start to see more of that happen in addition to the fines for people who are not obeying mask mandates or whatever else they're doing that's against the law on the airplane. I don't think we will see any more 9/11 related security policies enacted, but we could see people's behavior examined in terms of their risk to the plane. Simply, if, for example, if they are vocal about not wanting to wear a mask, they could be flagged as a security risk. They may not be allowed to get on a plane without extra security screening.
Henry, good stuff. Thanks very much for joining us on this very sobering topic. Thanks to Henry Harteveldt. He's a travel industry analyst and president of Atmosphere Research Group. Again, thank you so much.